It is Country Viewpoint here on Flow FM, and we're heading down to the southeast in South Australia today, and the beautiful place that is Robe. Magnificent down there. The Mayor of the Robe District Council joins me on the line, and it's appropriate off the top that we mention, recently named as one of the top 10 places to retire. Robe, Alison Nunan, welcome to Country Viewpoint.
Oh, hi, Jason. How are you today?
I'm well, thank you. I'm not entirely sure about this. It was a little anecdotally made, I guess, that particular statement, because Robe is a lot more than a place just to retire. In fact, I reckon it's a great place to live and work. I'm sure you'd agree.
Oh, yes, absolutely. It was a lovely honour to be listed in that, and certainly there were lots of country towns. I think Harndorf in South Australia was the other one. So happy to line up against those sort of calibre towns. But any time people want to come here, whether they're retiring or whether they're visiting or whether they're coming here to live, we're happy to have them. Absolutely happy.
Well, visitor numbers were absolutely through the roof over the Christmas New Year period around the state. And from what I'm hearing in the southeast and Robe in particular, no exception there. So you'd have to be delighted with that. Many people are getting in and finding out just how good Robe is.
Yeah, and I think it's a spin-off from when the borders were shut. We had a lot of people come to Robe as soon as they were able to travel for the very first time. And so a lot of those people had never heard of Robe. South Australian people came for the first time, loved it, and I think we've seen the spin-off of that over the summer months. Talking to business owners, talking to tourism operators, it feels as though it's been the biggest we've had for a very, very long time. We will be able to confirm all of those types of numbers probably in the next 6 weeks, because we have a program, a spend map program, that tells us how many people we've had, where they're from and all that type of thing. But certainly people have said that they have had a fabulous summer. So we're very grateful for that. People from South Australia and the Victorian border opened up just in time, and so we got all our Victorian ratepayers over as well, plus visitors. So, yeah, we've been blessed with big numbers this summer.
Our friends in Western Victoria are no stranger to your area. In fact, you could argue the point that Western Victorians probably know the southeast of South Australia maybe better than some other South Australians that, as you said, just got into Robe for the first time over that Christmas New Year period.
Yeah, I think that's probably right. All of those Western Victorian, we have a significant amount of ratepayers in that Western Victorian area, and on top of that, we get a lot of visitors from that place, that area in Western Victoria and the Wimmera. In the end, they've been able to come, and as I say, the people who were here for the first time during the winter, plenty of those have returned. So very, very lucky.
Now, you guys there in Robe are no stranger to large visitor numbers. I mean, it's quite common that you get a big influx of visitors, whether it be from Western Victoria or other parts of this state and even other parts of the country. But did the large influx of visitors over the Christmas New Year period provide any challenges for you guys as a council, or is it a case of you're on top of it just simply because you're more used to it than perhaps other areas? Certainly we're very experienced in dealing with large numbers over that 6-week period. We still experience challenges. Robe itself is only a very small town, and so parking can be an issue. Rubbish can be a bit of an issue at times. People camping on the beaches. There's just an awful lot going on, but it's all manageable. You've just got to learn to deal with it and deal with it in a kind and respectful way. Everyone's here enjoying themselves on holidays. It's just a matter of being a bit tolerant and a bit patient. So there's always those types of challenges, but on the whole, as I say, we're pretty experienced at dealing with that type of thing. Does seem like a nice problem to have, an influx of visitors, and I'm sure the local businesses after the COVID year that we've had would probably agree with that.
Yeah, and that's the thing that you've always got to have in the back of your mind, is that sure enough, you might not be able to park out in front of the news agency, or you might have to line up for a coffee for a bit. But really, when you take into consideration what happened and transpired last year, you've got to be grateful. You've got to be grateful and got to keep it in the front of your mind that, you know, we're fortunate. I spent some time in New South Wales sort of during Christmas, New Year period, and their country towns don't experience anything like what we experience here, and I'm sure they would love to. Yep. So, you know, it's always a little eye-opener when you travel somewhere else and see what other areas are doing, and we're not struggling. But there are certainly plenty of other areas in Australia that are.
No doubt. One area where I think country towns have struggled in the past and continue to up to right now is internet issues and services in regional areas aren't improving anytime, or they should have improved by now with the NBN being rolled out, but there seems to be some issues. I know your council is having a real close look at NBN coverage, internet coverage in your council area. And this is an issue not just for visitors, of course, but for those who live and work every day, day in, day out in the area.
Yeah, that's right, Jason. So we're going to be employing a group of people to come and find out where the problems lay for us, why we are having some problems with our internet as far as speed, and so it's a specialist field. We've got a company that are going to come and do some work for us. It's difficult because of the size of our town, and you know it's the same maybe across the southeast, bar Mount Gambier. You know they're a gig city in Mount Gambier, but we need to know what the problem is, what's holding us back here, and why we can't get the speed of internet that we need. And, you know, Robe is a growing place. We've got a lot of good things going on. COVID certainly indicated that you can work from home, and where that home is can be variable. And for us, you know, we've had a number of inquiries from people saying, you know, we want to come here for 3 or 4 months of the year and run our business from Robe. What's your internet like? And we have to be upfront and honest and just say, at the moment, it's probably not adequate for what they're after. So it is holding us back a fraction. And how we'll address the issues that come up from this report, I don't know. I don't know enough about it at this point. But, yeah, so it's something that we need to look at, and we are.
Certainly talk more about it in the future because it's a common denominator. There are people, I'm sure, listening to us now across South Australia nodding their heads, saying we've got the same problems here. It's a big handbrake to regional growth, I think. The NBN was supposed to fix that. It hasn't. Hopefully that will improve in the future. Alison, can I backtrack a little bit now, actually, and take you back to Australia Day? This is the first time we've been able to have a chat in 2021. How did you spend your Australia Day?
So we had a small ceremony here in Robe. We were actually really fortunate. We received or applied for and won a grant to the tune of about $15,000 to buy some stuff to make our Australia Day A, COVID safe, and B, just a little bit more special. So the area where we have our Australia Day looked really, really special this year. And so, yeah, we honoured, along with everyone else across, South Australia, some Citizens of the Year. We had John Fenton and Emma Vasek, who ran a food hub during COVID that was utilising donated food and then distributing that through the community. So they were really worthy winners. Our Young Citizen of the Year was Lucy Smith. That young lady has a list of achievements as long as your arm, and for somebody who's, I think she's just 18, we're in good hands with people like that, honestly. Our bushfire relief concert, which we ran this time last year and raised a heap of money for the KI, people on KI who were affected by the bushfire, that won our community event of the year. We all put together a concert really, really quickly, and lots of people donated accommodation and cash and all of that sort of stuff, and I was lucky enough. I was the person who went over there and handed all of that to their mayor on behalf of the Robe community. So that was fabulous to see them get over the line for the event of the year. And we have a Merrill Award that I can give out each year if I choose to, and I did this year, and it went to the Robe Sandmasters event. We have a motorbike track just out of town, and they held an event this year. They had a world-class rider come, and they attracted riders far and wide, as much as they could within COVID, and it was a great event, really great event. So they won the Merrill Award for this year.
Outstanding. So well done to all of the winners, and good day had by all, I'd imagine.
Yeah, it was. It was fabulous, and the weather was great this year. We got rained on last year, so but this year it was beautiful.
Excellent. All right, window to the future now. Well, we've covered what has been, but window to the future. I know there's some work being done on an entrance statement at the moment for Robe, and we're seeing this happen more and more. I think the government grants that have been getting around are being utilised on things like this, and I don't think there's anything better than driving into town, seeing a nice big entrance statement, and you know where you are, and you feel welcomed.
Yeah, that's right. So we were lucky enough in round one to get $191,000 from the government for infrastructure projects, and the community has long indicated that they would like something at the T junction for as a welcome to Robe, and so we ran some community consultation again as best as we could through COVID, because all of that stuff had to happen through that time, because there's an end point. The money has to be spent by the end of March. And so, yeah, we now have, starting today, I believe the builders are in there today, developing the pad, and all of the entrance statement work has been done and will be completed by the deadline. So that's going to be something special. We're really excited to see it. It's going to look amazing, I'm sure.
Indeed it will, and looking forward to seeing it myself. But I'm sure that the influx of visitors that will be coming your way to the end of summer will enjoy it as well. Hopefully they'll get to see it, at the end of the warm period at least. If it's done by March, it'll still be nice and warm. People will be heading your way to get to the beach, I'd imagine. Yeah, Easter, of course. Yeah, big time.
Yeah. So, no, that'll be good. It'll all be there and planted out, and it's funny. It's not necessarily something that is going to have a big impact on Robe or anything like that. But everyone's really excited. It's going to be something we've never had anything like that before. It's really reflective of Robe, very excited to see it completed.
Brilliant. And we should talk about the 2080 plan as well. We're talking about a window to the future, not just planning for the now, but planning for what's ahead. Tell us about the plan, what it is, and what it's designed to do.
Yeah, so you've got to. You've always got to be looking forward, of course, and we have a 2040 plan that was developed some time ago. Robe is changing really quickly. It has now developed a set of needs, aged care, conference centre. There's a heap of stuff that economically and for our community, Robe is starting to agitate, and we need these things to keep moving forward. And so what's happening is that we are trying to get all of our thoughts down on paper, so that our community, we can then go to the community and say, hey, look, we need to have a look at all of these different things as to how big is Robe going to get, how big do we want it to get, where can it possibly grow next, how are we going to get around this town, given that, some people might be right out on Long Beach. It's all about transport and aged care, looking to the future, finding out where the economic drivers are likely to be in the industries that we have. Are we going to get new industries? That type of thing. It's a really broad type of discussion in the first instance, and how we're going to run it is we'll get a working group together of about 15, 20 people, and we'll put some ideas together, put them on paper, and then go to the community and say, what do you think about this? Is this in line with what your vision is for Robe? Yeah, so that'll be a piece of work we're actually going to be commencing in the next couple of months. James and I will go, James Holloman, CEO, and myself will go into Victoria and speak to the ratepayers in Victoria. We'll go to Adelaide. We have a significant number of Adelaide ratepayers,
Sure.
and we head up there. We've done it 2 or 3 times to both locations and speak to them as well and try and get across as many people as we can and come up with what we think is a good, solid vision for moving this town forward.
Excellent. Well, we'll talk about that in the future as it is being developed. Looking forward to it as well. Has your council met since the New Year break, or are you meeting soon? What's that look like?
Yeah, we had a council meeting, I think it was 20th of January, and then we have another meeting coming up next Wednesday night, and we've had a couple of elected member forums in between. We've got another one on tonight to deal with the commencement of the 2080 plan. So, yeah, we did have probably that early January. There's just no point in trying to schedule anything. Everyone's off on holidays and doing things. But, yeah, we've been back on deck pretty solidly since mid-January.
Excellent. Well, we'll check in with you again in a month's time after that next council meeting, and I'm sure there'll be plenty to talk about then as well, as there always is in Robe. Always great catching up, Alison, for a chat, and wishing you, your ratepayers, wherever they're listening to us today, across the Flow network, all the very best. Thanks again.
Yeah, thanks so much, Jason. Really appreciate it.